point guard, a transfer from Cal State Bakersfield, as Barnes heads to the line for Carolina.
Also 5 second chance points on 3 offensive rebounds. So State was beneficial in corralling some of the misses.
P.J. Hairston, Desmond Hubert have checked in for Carolina. Tyler Zeller's on the bench with a season-long injury to Leslie McDonald, and then the torn ACL suffered mid-season by Dexter Strickland, and now the wrist injury to John Henson. Roy Williams is having to go deeper into his bench than originally intended.
Yeah, as dominant as Carolina's been in the conference, people don't realize how difficult a job Roy Williams has had in managing those injuries.
McAdoo getting a little bit of medical attention. Bullock's on the bench as well. Zeller's on the bench as well. Roy Williams playing some lineups to determine he might not have played all season long. Nice move. P.J. Hairston, the freshman out of Greensboro.
Hairston used the jump shot to his benefit on that one. He got head and shoulders past his man.
Johnson goes over the top to Leslie, who lays it in, was asking for a foul as well. And while he was asking for a foul, he's a little bit late getting back on D. Fortunate that Carolina didn't take advantage.
Well, P.J. Hairston's terrific jump shooter, and they're playing him tight for that jump shot. But there on the jump stop, he gets head and shoulders past his man and able to, under control, get to the rim.
Justin Watts in the game as well for Carolina. That's him with the ball right now. Looking inside for Barnes. Stolen away by Lorenzo Brown. Brown with a long bounce pass. Johnson lobs it up, and Watts anticipated and broke up the play.
That should have been a layup by Johnson instead of trying to get a little too fancy.
Hairston with an air ball from three-point range. Again, Brown leads the break. This time he'll slow it down. Johnson for three. And the rebound to Marshall.
Peculiarly, no red shirts on the offensive glass.
Howell on the defensive glass. Quick outlet. Johnson. One-on-one with Marshall. Got the layup and the foul.
And that's what you have to do. When you have an advantage on late and Kendall Marshall is the only guy back, you've got to take it to him. You've got to make him play defense, and Johnson does just that. Maybe got away with a little bit of a push-off with that left arm. As he wards off the defender, that's where the contact comes in. Yeah, actually, the more we look at it, that was a tough call against Kendall Marshall.
Just enough English on the ball, too, to spin it in off the glass. Johnson at the line looking to complete the three-point play. Zeller and Bullock return down for Carolina.
You know, before the game, I asked Roy Williams, how does he manage to keep Kendall Marshall out of foul trouble? And he mentioned, just don't get silly fouls, is what he's told Kendall Marshall. Because those are the ones that come back to bite you. On that one, I think Kendall Marshall was victimized. Because he was the one that caught that arm in his face instead of him initiating contact.
That's the midway point of the first half. NC State up a point on North Carolina. Marshall open again, hits the three. He is starting to make that shot more regularly than he did earlier in the year. Teams are still leaving him open a lot though by doubling down on the big guys, and Marshall's starting to make them pay.
Yeah, he has to. I mean, otherwise, defense is flattened out. It's almost 5 against 4. Point guard has to be a threat.
22 at NC State last month, 20 at Duke a couple of weeks ago. Leslie spins, knocks it down. Tough shot to tie the game. Second team all ACC performer, as we've already seen today, a spectacular athlete. About like Dr. said, he heard a lot of negative stuff about when he took the job, his work ethic, his maturity, and so forth, but everybody seems to feel that Leslie has really turned the corner in that regard.
Well, maturity more than anything else as a sophomore. Take a look right here. There's a double. And obviously Kendall Marshall spots up for that three. Yeah, he's got good form, good rotation. You're just wondering why he hasn't been more effective up until now.
McAdoo back into the game. Zeller for a catch and release and a heartbeat. Like an old Carolina guy, Antoine Jameson. Zeller does not hang on to that ball for long. Marshall, by the way, has not come out of the game yet. Normally, Roy Williams sits him for a couple of minutes each half with Stillman White in there. Coach Williams admits to being concerned about the number of minutes that Marshall's playing. And now, as we say it, White stands up, takes off the warm-up, and he's headed to the scores table. And he alternating possession, it'll be Carolina ball. Tomorrow, two of the NBA's most storied franchises renew their long-standing rivalry on ABC as Rajon Rondo and the Boston Celtics take on Kobe Bryant and the Los Angeles Lakers. The NBA on ABC tomorrow at 3:30 Eastern. It all starts with Kia NBA Countdown at 3. White in the game, Marshall on the bench.
And no sooner than you spoke, Roy Williams acted and tried to get Kendall Marshall some rest.
This ball bounces to McAdoo, who's fouled on the way up. Let's go over to Aaron Andrews.
And just to add on what you guys were saying about Kendall Marshall, after the Duke game, he preached to reporters that he was suffering from cotton mouth in that game. He said he was getting very tired, and like you mentioned, Roy Williams did say to us, his minutes are a concern, but he looked at us and said, hey guys, when you have three of your top 6 guys out, I really have no choice but to give them a lot of minutes, and of course other guys are going to have to step up as well.
Again, McDonald out for the season. Strickland missing the second half of the year with an injury. Now Henson out as well. That foul on Richard Howell, his second. He goes to the bench. Deshaun Painter back in. That is a loss for NC State.
Yeah, Richard Howell, so dominant on the offensive glass. Despite the misses, NC State's been able to corral some offensive rebounds, mostly by Richard Howell.
1 of 2 for McAdoo. State with a little out of sync here on this trip. Johnson dribbling through traffic. Williams fortunate to find the ball and hit Leslie. And they'll wind up with a bucket miraculously out of all that. Leslie now 4 for 5.
Increase the degree of difficulty, give it to C.J. Leslie. And he and Tyler Zeller getting tangled up.
And the foul will go against Leslie of NC State. His first. We'll take another look as we go to break as Leslie and Zeller got all tangled up. Mark Gottfried not happy that the call went against his player. But a 1-point game here between these two teams. you, well, even if Kentucky were to lose, I think everybody believes they would be a #1 seed, and maybe still the #1 overall seed. Syracuse probably in the same boat as a locked #1 seed. Right now, Joe Lunardi has Carolina and Kansas as the other two #1 seeds, but maybe the door is still open for Michigan State, Missouri, or Duke, depending on how things go. We have to change that up.
Well, it appears that the Carolina and the Kansas #1 seeds are most precarious. Kansas go down early in their conference.
And away from the ball, a call against Carolina. It'll be on Hairston. His first and the third team foul. 1 point lead for Carolina. Just over 7 minutes remaining. A low-scoring first half between two teams that can really put points on the board.
Yeah, they're #1 and #3 in points in the ACC. Carolina averages about 82 per game.
White tried to find McAdoo. White runs down the loose ball. He's open for three. Crowd, you look at the reaction of Carolina fans. They love it when White gets in there, gets a chance to shoot the ball, which doesn't happen often. Marshall getting ready to check back in even as we speak.
NC State averages about 74 points a game, so they both like to get up and down.
Saw a graphic for NC State. The guy with the ball, C.J. Lessler, has done most of the damage for them so far today. Painter on the weak side with a foul. Put the Wolfpack back on top.
I know that'll be counted as a shot, but that was a pretty good pass.
Actually, Howell picked up his second foul.
C.J. Lessler persistent shooting. That time he gets away with it. Last foul on him, he was trying to shoot over Tyler Zeller.
Painter switches hands, misses with the left hand, and the save by Bullock. Here comes White. The trailer, McAdoo, and it's an offensive foul. Johnson drawing the charge.
Not to take anything away from Alex Johnson's courage, but it was pretty hard to see him in that crowd. Let McAdoo go, and Johnson comes and takes the position right in front of the restricted area. He's set.
They'll break it down again. Bracketology presented by Staples. C.J. Williams to the bench for NC State for the second foul.
When you look at Carolina without Kendall Marshall, not a whole lot of ad-libbing. They got to be more precise, more of a pattern team right now. Precise execution, utilizing screens, hard post-ups.
Big ball, it'll stay with Carolina. Marshall has played virtually all of the minutes for North Carolina. They get 34, 36, sometimes 38 minutes per game. Let's see how they function without him. What a bounce for Bullock. Lorenzo Brown into a little bit of trouble, finds Wood. Painter open from 15 feet away, in and out. Saved by Wood, but here come the Heels. 5-on-4 right now. Wood trapped behind the play. Tap back out in a fresh 35.
Again, with Kendall Marshall on the floor, there's a lot of improvisation because he's such a good passer.
Bullock not this time on the three. What a rebound by Gilbert. And Bullock fills the lane, comes up with a loose ball, ties the game. Marshall on the bench. Barnes only 2 points. Henson injured. Bullock is doing a job right now as Tar Heel Nation makes some noise here in Atlanta.
You gotta like the hustle if you're a Tar Heel fan. Guys get up on the glass, keeping it alive.
Johnson to Painter. Rebound Watts.
How many of those open looks has Painter got and not been able to put down? And he's got the ability to knock down the 10-footer. Just not today thus far.
And Barnes turns it over. NC State ball, Lorenzo Brown informs us. When we come back with 2:47 to go here in the first half. These two old rivals meeting for the 222nd time in the rivalry. And on the line today, a spot of the ACC Tournament Championship game. Thank you. Let's take a look now at the last four in and the first four out. Brought to you by the U.S. Marines, and according to Joey Brackets, he's got NC State now in after the win over Virginia last night. Miami, in a game you did win last night, losing to Florida State. Joe Lunardi's got them on the outside looking in right now.
Well, that was a game, as we talked about consensus, everybody thought Miami had to win in order to step into it and get off the bubble, and they didn't win it.
This is a shot of Roy Williams in the just completed timeout. Now, he's a guy who has said, you know what? There's bigger things ahead, and the ACC tournament is not as... Once they put the ball up in the air, he's a competitor, and you can see how hard he is working his players right now. I'm very happy with that. Lorenzo Brown again forcing the issue, gets the bounce, and stays back on top. 9 for Brown. Wave off the basket, or will they count it? They count the basket, but call the offensive foul on Watts.
Well, the ball left Watts' hand before the contact was made. Well, that's the correct call. Take a look right here. The ball's out of his hands, then the contact made. Good call by the official on both ends.
Was that Johnson again, stepping in to take a charge?
Yes, it was, and as I said, you can't see him. Take nothing away from his ability to step in there, but his diminutive size helped on that mistake.
CJ Lachey having himself a day. He is 6 for 8 from the field right now for a dozen points, and the Wolfpack back on top by a deuce. Roy Williams, if you just joined us, took Kendall Marshall out of the game with 6 minutes left in the half after he picked up his second foul. John Henson's not playing because of the wrist injury suffered yesterday. Zeller gets the basket. Give him 8 points on the day, and a foul on Painter as well.
Credit the offensive rebounding of Carolina. The second chance opportunity. Zeller kept it alive and is rewarded by Bullock with the pass on the side. And Painter, for some reason, contact instead of holding it around and extending, making it a harder shot.
Zeller to the line. If you're here before a North Carolina game, you see Zeller working extensively on the jump hook run. He has a manager or one of the walk-ons feeding him the ball time and time again, working on that shot.
And why not? I mean, that's a strength that he has. We mentioned the deft touch, but also his length. No one can really get to that shot.
Wood, his first points of the game. Another 2-point basket for Wood. State back on top. It's a travel. So Harrison Barnes, who in the semifinal of this tournament last year, on this very day, semifinal Saturday, scored 40 points against Clemson. And today, Harrison Barnes has 2 points, both of them coming from the foul line.
But for the scrambles and the offensive rebound, Carolina's offense looks obviously disjointed without Kendall Marshall out there. Very little penetration.
What a move by Leslie. Inside, outside, doing anything he wants to right now.
And this is a young man playing with supreme confidence, demanding the ball, and then just taking his time. You know, identifies the defense's splits right there on the attempted double. Going strong to the basket.
His last 7 games, Len, he's averaging 19 points and 11 rebounds per game.
And the last time they played Carolina, 24 and 12 are the numbers that he put up. So his eyes get a lot bigger when he sees that Carolina blue.
Godfrey goes a little deeper into his bench, takes Scott Wood out, brings in Tyler Harris. Number 34. McAdoo fadeaway, a little bit strong. State ball and a reach-in foul on McAdoo.
The last thing you want to do is compound and miss. With a foul that's going to put your opponent on the free throw line.
And it's his third. Oh boy. Coach Williams is not happy right now. McAdoo out, Hubert in, Henson injured. Marshall missing the last 6 minutes after picking up his second. No room for silly fouls on either team, really, with the depleted numbers that both teams are going through. Missed the front end. And Carolina can hold for the final shot of the half. Looks like it'll be Barnes. And he draws the foul.
Well, with an opportunity just to be down 2 at the half. Well, Williams has to breathe a sigh of relief. Having Kendall Marshall on the bench in foul trouble. James Michael McAdoo in foul trouble. Juggle this lineup.
Very short on the free throw. The foul was on Leslie, his second. So he comes out for the last few seconds of the half. Scott Wood comes back in. Also, Thomas Detay, the 13, a freshman from Belgium, makes his first appearance into the game. Barnes makes the second. And Mark Gottfried's going to use a timeout to try to set something up here in the final seconds of the half.
Going that way. It's taking it out. You're going back.
On November 7th, 1991, Magic Johnson shocked the nation when he announced his retirement from basketball after testing positive for HIV. The announcement gets to the core of Magic's incredible journey and explores how he continues to thrive 2 decades later. ESPN films The Announcement tomorrow night at 9 Eastern on ESPN. Last few seconds of the half, Lorenzo Brown through traffic, got it off, and good attempt by Brown at the end of the half. North Carolina for the Wolfpack. Gives them another ball handler, but Johnson now covers Marshall, so it's a different look for Marshall. Johnson to the trailer, Brown to another trailer, Leslie.
That was an unselfish play by Lorenzo Brown. That's what I talk about, him learning to be a playmaker. He had an opportunity 3 feet from the basket, but handed it off to a guy who could make an easier shot.
Cross-court look. Marshall, bounce pass. McAdoo. Rope peck ball. Wood for three. Rebound down to Zeller. Hudson State playing with a lot of confidence right now. That would have been a big make for Scott Wood.
Yeah, that was a challenge a minute ago, as Reggie Bullock got to Wood in time.
Barnes misses a three. He has still yet to make a field goal in this game.
Yeah, Harrison Barnes being guarded by Lorenzo Brown. You know, C.J. Williams, a pretty good defender, has been keeping him in check thus far. You expect Harrison Barnes to really start to get on track.
Leslie driving on McAdoo, and if the foul's on McAdoo, it's his fourth. Good today. Watts will come back in. That will force Barnes to more of a... You mentioned Watts at times has played the four and has guarded opposing power forwards. In the first half today, he played some point guard when Marshall had some foul trouble. All right, now Leslie's on Watts. See how they match over the other end. Marshall for three. Got it.
Marshall for three. I like the way he lines that shot up. It's almost like he's aiming it.
Watts is playing the four spot right now. He's trying to guard Leslie. Howell driving on Zeller. Got it in the air. Got it back. What an effort by Richard Howell. He has 9 rebounds already in the game. There's a number of Georgia players on the North Carolina State team from Marietta, Georgia, having a big day, trying to send NC State into the championship game in this tournament for the first time since 2007. They haven't won the tournament since 1987.
NC State vaulted out to this lead. The question is, can they finish?
And away from the camera.
And ultimately let it get away from them.
That leads late against the likes of Indiana and Stanford, too. Couldn't close those games. Seem to have been doing a better job of it recently. They're up 7, but an eternity still left in this one here in Atlanta. Barnes, first field goal of the game, and it's a three. Leslie with a size advantage will shoot the jumper over Watts. Rebound Barnes.
You got to resist settling.
Another rebound for Howell. That's his 10th. Nice outlet to Brown. Wide open in the corner. Johnson. Alex Johnson with a three. State up by 7. Barnes posting on Brown, taking advantage of the size mismatch he had right now.
The half. He said simply we need to play smarter basketball. Not happy with the turnovers right now. North Carolina has 10 to, and also said about C.J. Leslie, we just simply have to keep his percentage down.
Well, then for a team to have 11 more fast break points than North Carolina is unheard of. That just doesn't happen to the Trojans.
And NC State, you talk about desire. Mark Gottfried told his team they didn't come here just to win games, get in the tournament. That helps. They came here to win this tournament, period. And when you look at the hustle points, second chance points, they're beating Carolina.
Will be on Zeller. Howell and Williams, 2 players for North Carolina State, each with 3 fouls. McAdoo's on the bench for Carolina with 4. Barnes inside, too strong off the glass, and a North Carolina foul. Zeller over the back.
Maybe produce some of the offensive rebounding of Richard Howell, and I say some. You don't expect him to rebound as well as Howell. You know, they can weather the storm, State can.
And a travel by Johnson. State only 7 players deep really in their rotation. 9 players today. Justin Watts is in off the bench right now, but Hairston, Hubert, White generally only get a few minutes apiece off that Carolina bench. Neither team is deep as Zeller lays it in and draws the foul.
I just mentioned it, Deshaun Painter. He's a marked man, and Carolina's going to definitely go after him. And here, Tyler Zeller, nice little drop step, gets head and shoulders past his man. Painter's got to do a much better job defensively there. That was almost a giveaway, and then the foul.
3-point play for Zeller. Back within 3. Full house here in Atlanta. 2 different shades of blue. Lots of red as well for State. Carolina fans behind the far basket now standing and making a lot of noise. And we had it.
A lot of pushing and shoving going on down there.
Now Watts is on Brown. Kendall Marshall is on C.J. Wesley right now. Marshall says to Harrison Barnes, I need a switch. Now Marshall's on Wood. Brown for 3. Way too strong. The rebound down to Harrison Barnes. It's over by Barnes. Puts the brakes on. Marshall thought about it.
Mismatch there, Johnson.
And a foul.
That's excellent recognition by Harrison Barnes as to who was guarding. He wasn't about to get bumped. Yeah, those are lost opportunities.
1-point game. Wood misses a very deep 3, and the Tar Heels can take the lead. Barnes.
Well, if you wondered where Harrison Barnes was in the first half, I can only tell you he had a
On the bench. What has changed for Barnes here in the second half?
I think the fact that C.J. Williams is on the bench for NC State, that absence due to foul, has created an opportunity for Barnes to get it more into a comfort zone, exploit some mismatches because NC State hard-pressed to find anybody that matches up.
Wesley getting much more aggressive now, trying to take advantage of Watts down to the post. Takes another long jumper, though, and here come the Heels.
Yeah, we mentioned before, C.J. Leslie cannot settle. He's got to work a little bit harder to take advantage.
Zeller slipped. 7 minutes into the second half. The winner to go to the championship game tomorrow against the winner of our next semifinal between Duke and Florida State.
Richard Howell back in the game, but he's got to play very carefully right now.
3 fouls and defending Zeller. Marshall on the drive. Nice look to Watts. Oh, he missed the layup. Wow. And the block is the call on Barnes.
North Carolina penalty reporting Harrison Barnes as his first.
Wasn't given any medical attention there, but he keeps looking down at that hand, Dan.
Thank you. We'll keep an eye on that. Now we get an offensive foul against Howell. Richard Howell, as we get another look, just picked up his 4th foul.
That's a tough call on Richard Howell as he gets the ball down low.
A huge loss for NC State. Zeller inside and a foul on Painter. He's pleading his case, saying, I was just standing here with my arm straight up.
A couple of bad calls against him, the loss of the premier rebounder. You know, that's definitely caused some concern. But you can't give in if you're NC State.
And Zeller knocks them both down. 81% on the season. The lead has grown to 4. State's got some foul trouble. Momentum shift in favor of the Tar Heels. An 11-0 run right now for North Carolina. Johnson. A big 3 for the Wolfpack.
That's what I'm talking about. If you're NC State, you got to shake it off.
So State. Brown all the way. Too strong off the glass. It is Carolina now leading foul-plagued North Carolina State by 1 point. Richard Howell, who has been tremendous when he's been in the game for State today, is on the bench with 4 fouls. 2 other NC State players already have 3. That'll be Wolfpack ball on the turnover. Painter, who's Howell's replacement, has 3, as does C.J. Williams. If Painter were to pick up his 4th, Len, who knows what Mark Godfrey can do.
He'd have to go small, maybe even play 4 guards. You know, C.J. Williams would have to get back in the game a lot earlier than Mark would like.
They could really use Wood to make a couple of shots. He hasn't had many opportunities. Leslie lost the ball, and here come the Heels again. There have been 5 ties and 11 lead changes already in this game.
Just too much inside. And I tell you what, Tyler Zeller does a nice job of baiting the defender into hooking him.
Well, that's number 4. We're about to find out what Mark Godfrey would do. Painter his 4th.
Now take a look right there. As Painter tries to do the swim move, that's when Zeller raises his arm, and it appears as though the defender hooked him. Painter has got to avoid that, and as I mentioned, when Painter goes down, you've got to bring C.J. Williams back into the ballgame.
And that means C.J. Leslie, in all likelihood, is going to have to guard Tyler Zeller.
State's going to have to dust off the zone a little bit.
Leslie's facing on Zeller. Great first half. It was very quiet, relatively speaking, here in the second half. Back to it. And somehow got the basket and the foul. How did he do that? Third on Zeller, 21 points now for Leslie. How did he find room?
Well, he does a nice job, like I said, improvising, turning his body so he can get at least a square shot to the basket. Me? Did I do that?
3 on Zeller, something to keep an eye on. Leslie at the line. 22 points. You saw his career high came earlier this season against Carolina. He's 2 points away from matching it here today. He's defending Zeller in the post. 6'8" Leslie, 7-foot Zeller. Block to Zeller. Too easy. Nice 2-man game. 16 for Zeller. Leslie again. Great help and a travel.
Again, for to lose your poise right now. C.J. Leslie almost appears to be trying to do too much. That's a perfect opportunity to kick the ball back and reset.
That's the midway point of the second half in a tie game. The first of 2 semifinals of the ACC tournament in Atlanta. 2-3 zone, NC State, as you said, Len. Zeller, and he was fouled by Leslie as well.
You can tell, man-to-man is NC State's bread and butter. It's almost as if NC State is not all in on the zone. But that was just too easy. Zeller get in position, and C.J. Leslie just flails out.
So Leslie with 3. Howell and Painter each on the bench with 4. C.J. Williams has 3 as well. And Mark Gottfried is going to try to regroup a little bit here with his team now trailing by 3. Atlanta, the Duke Blue Devils have won 10 of the last 13 ACC tournaments. Their semifinal game for you as freshman Austin Rivers, the ACC Rookie of the Year, leads the Blue Devils against Leonard Hamilton's Florida State Seminoles coming up after this game from Phillips Arena. The winner of that one takes on the winner of this one. Carolina leading by 3. Zone look from the Tar Heels right now.
Both of these teams have shown zone for minimal amounts of time, although I think NC State is going to have to be a little more consistent due to their foul trouble.
Scott Wood was lining up a 3 and started shooting like a receiver who starts running before he catches the ball. That's what Scott Wood was doing. Fumbled it out of bounds. He's had a tough day. Painter is back into the game for State with 4 fouls, and again, they're going right after him. No call, Zeller the basket. Tried to drop charge.
That's pretty similar to the foul call on Richard Howell, where you body up in the first move, you take the bump and go down. Howell was called for it. Zeller was not.
Zeller has scored the last 9 points for North Carolina. Leslie. No. Offensive foul.
Justin Watts a lot of credit, but he was almost falling before Leslie even made his move, and there was contact on that. I guess a better angle, it's a lot closer than it originally looked, but at this juncture of the game, that's a tough call.
Carolina turnover, so that foul is the 4th on Leslie. 3 State players now each have 4 fouls. Leslie is in the game with 4, although here comes Painter. Wood will go out, so Howell's on the bench with 4, Painter and Leslie in the game with 4, and better than 8 minutes still to go.
Yeah, the 4 fouls have taken away the aggressiveness of NC State. You know, Carolina's always been adept at drawing charges.
The zone again. Leslie spinning. Can't hit. Watch the rebound. Barnes has come to life here in the second half. If it's Leslie, he's gone. And it is.
Well, Mark Gottfried rolled the dice. Kept C.J. Leslie in with 4 fouls. The expectation was that he would not take the risk and try to be assertive defensively. And the dice came up snake eyes.
And there is just a massive amount of frustration on that North Carolina State bench with the way the calls have gone here in the second half. As their best all-around player, C.J. Leslie, second-team All-ACC, fouls out of the game. They've got 2 other players on the floor with 4, and Mark Gottfried is running out of options, running out of players right now. 1 of 2 for Barnes. Bullock back in for Barnes. They have led much of the game. Now with Leslie out of some foul trouble, as you said, they appear to be a lot more tentative now than they were a few minutes ago.
Yeah, very difficult to be aggressive, and particularly the way the calls have gone. You know, it's hard for them to figure out, okay, how's this game being officiated?
Howell whips down the rebound and the follow. Boy, has he been a monster on the offensive glass. Timeout on the floor. Howell to the line when we come back. Will this give the Wolfpack a spark down the stretch?
ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is presented by Dick's Sporting Goods. Every season starts at Dick's. And in part by Infinity, luxury cars that deliver inspired performance. And Bud Light, it's the sure sign of a good time. Here we go.